Hey, how's it going? Hey, this is Mark Dudley from the confines of the lab, aka the basement, and I am so happy to have Christy Shin back on here with me today. Hey, Christy.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing okay. Last time you spoke with us, last time we spoke,
Hmm.
we had kind of promised to do a follow-up to our initial episode about bullying and the like in the fandom. There's
Right.
some things that have happened recently that kind of, I won't say piggyback, but definitely make this episode something that needs to be the things in this episode something that needs to be addressed. Uh,
Right.
I was recently reading, all right, a couple things. First of all, there's something that happened at TwitchCon not too long ago that we want to talk about.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and so there's also some things that happened with a cosplayer, black cosplayer, who goes by the screen name Squid Kid 111, I think. She
Yeah, you
recently,
mentioned that. Yeah.
yeah, she recently committed suicide, behind some things. We want to talk about it. And we also want to talk generally about just like the toxicity in the fandom.
Oh yeah.
It's rampant. And it goes to a lot of things, both political and both sociological, but it's definitely, and it's also kind of goes to some of the features of the social media itself. So, I mean, that's kind of what we want to talk about today.
Right.
So without further ado, Christy, let's dive into TwitchCon.
All right. Yeah, TwitchCon, that was a pile of crap. Yeah, Emaru, she is half Asian. I think she's half Chinese and half German. And what had happened was is that she was at her meet and greet. She's a very big streamer, if you guys are not in the know about it. And
What does she stream? Right?
she just streams like games, like very
Video
pretty
games and
wholesome
stuff?
kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like live streaming, like
Okay, yeah.
video games, mostly stuff like that.
Okay.
And the thing is that one guy, huge dude, he must have been 6'5". I mean, I think Emaru might be my height, actually
Hmm.
smaller.
Hmm.
And what this guy did, because these are meet and greets, and from what I understood from some of my friends that attended event, you would buy a wristband and go into the line and meet
Right.
it and all that. So what ended up happening was is that this guy skipped 3 lines, went up to her, and according to her and seeing the footage myself, he grabbed her and tried to kiss her. And she was like, no. And none of their TwitchCon security or the San Diego Convention Center
So this was at San
security.
Diego Convention Center then. Okay.
Yeah, it was at the San Diego.
Mhm.
Nobody stepped in. The only person that shoved him away was her personal security guard. And the thing
Mhm.
is, she was run into some crap like that before.
Mhm.
And 3 years ago, she had a really good security guard, and a guy, I think, tried grabbing her or something. And the guy just held him down. He didn't beat him up. He didn't assault him. He just held him until the authorities came.
Right.
You know what Dan Clancy, the CEO, did? He said, well, streamers should go and police their own communities. You should block that person. And I'm like going, if you've ever been a victim of harassment or stalking, that's not enough for somebody that's really hell bent on getting physical with you in any way, shape, or form, either in your face or grabbing you. And and I've seen that a lot firsthand, unfortunately. Um, but the thing is that he tried shaming her. They tried shaming her immediately, right then and there. And she had to go out and make a statement per her lawyer. And number two, it's like they banned the security guard that had held the guy down. And another thing that TwitchCon didn't do, or they refused to release that guy
Allegedly,
that
huh? Okay.
yeah, they refused to release that guy that grabbed her, who assaulted her, sexually assaulted her, because technically it is. They refused to release his information to the San Diego Police Department. They refused to.
Well, they can refuse to the police. The San Diego Police Department can bypass that. That's a crime.
I know, but that's the thing. They're kind of obstructing. That's the thing. And this guy was obviously on film grabbing her. There are all these witnesses around. This was not like, oh, he said, she said. This guy grabbed her. He skipped a line and grabbed her. It wouldn't matter if she was walking in the hallway, and they let him get away. The only people that reacted was her personal security guard that she hired. And I'm going like, this guy was huge. And apparently there was like a scary thing because apparently he was flicking out something that was silver and they had no idea if it was a knife. I'm just using a brush, but it didn't know if it looked like a pen. Like shortly before, I think it was like shortly after or shortly before. It was either one of those times. And people were going like, what the hell? Was that a knife or something?
Right.
And
Right.
again, yeah, it's just she's a very small girl compared to this guy. This guy looks 6'5" to me,
So you
probably
say she had
200,
some history of this
250 pounds.
stuff happening before. This the second time it happened, or was it other numerous times that this was happening?
From what I understand, she did get assaulted before, not quite like grabbed, but I think she got grabbed by the arm or some guy tried to
So
grope
where
her.
what convention was that at? Was that a
I
convention,
think that was at TwitchCon too.
or was that an earlier TwitchCon then?
Earlier TwitchCon. I don't
Oh,
know if it was at San Diego, but it
okay.
because they've been held at different places like
Right. Oh
Las
yeah, I heard
Vegas.
they definitely hold them all across country.
Yeah, yeah, but this one, the American one, I think or this one with Emaru, this
Mm,
was usually at San Diego, but they did go to Vegas at one point. So I
right.
don't know if it was at the Vegas or at San Diego, but TwitchCon did ban her original security guy that held the guy until the authorities came.
Well, okay,
They
so
permabanned her.
right. Right. So the thing is, first of all,
Mhm.
these cons, as I spoke on, or as we spoke, we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks.
Right,
These cons, they have as a part of their I won't say bylaws, but as a part of their con etiquette,
right,
they say that they protect people. They say that they try to uh uh protect the people who go to cons as fans and the people who present as fans from harassment. And so,
harassment, assault.
if this
Right,
happened the way that, it's been, the way we've been reading, if
right,
this happened, and I know that you said, I haven't seen the video, but you said you saw the video, and I know some other people have seen the video,
right.
that they haven't been doing their job. So,
No. In
taking
fact,
this into account and taking some other things that we've heard
right.
about various other cons and various other fandoms into account, that kind of uh gives cons a black eye, so to speak, in terms of them abiding by what it is they, espouse in terms of being friendly and being a welcoming place to the people who exhibit there.
Yeah, and the thing is that what's bothersome is that I have seen people that they've been bullied, and the people that are bullying them, they're really loud about it online. They're proud about it. They will go on about it and on about it and on about it. This is not, oh, I hate this person. I think they're a jerk. No, this is full on slandering and libeling this person and calling to arms of getting in this person's face and destroying their lives and career. And then the con will go like, well, it's not our problem. But then they'll blame the victim because the victim is usually singular. They won't do the simple thing of banning the people that are promising and inciting issues at a con,
Well, the problem
hardcore
with
issues and
that,
disturbance.
though,
And they're literally go, I mean, I'm gonna
sure, 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 sure,
finish it
sure.
with this. They will literally go and blame the victim and say, well, you're the one that caused it. You should have kept it quiet, even though
Well,
they did nothing to incite
to
it.
me, what's dumb about that is this, right?
Right.
The internet is forever. Email is
Mhm.
forever. You know,
Right.
there's a pair of paper trails. There's electronic paper trails that people create these days.
Right.
As it relates to a lot of the things that are said and a lot of the policies that are not being followed.
Right.
And to me, it's kind of whimsically stupid that they would
Right.
think that these paper trails wouldn't become part of some evidence stream as it relates to going after them from a legal perspective. That's what I often, sometimes my grandmother used to say, sometimes people are so smart they're stupid,
Yeah, I think it's
you know.
this. I think it's this. It's like if you're singling out a victim and you're victimizing somebody, even though it's like the person that you shouldn't victimize, et cetera, et cetera. They're alone, they're isolated. You have all these people, they're just going to think,
Sure.
oh, they're the stronger people and just go with it, even though I don't agree with that. Don't
Yeah,
get
they're
me
not
wrong.
strong. They're actually cowards. I know strength in
They
being
really are. That's why
in mobbing up somebody. That's cowardice.
right, right.
You know,
Yeah,
So the thing, so this young woman,
Right,
she's doing her thing, and she's a part of this community that she think is welcoming her and they're going to protect her because, you know, for all intents and purposes, protecting her, and this is just even from a business standpoint.
right,
From a business standpoint, you got TwitchCon, which is promoting Twitch.
right.
You would think that they would want to make it the most positive experience that they can.
No.
One would think, right? I'm
Yeah,
just
I would
saying. I
think.
mean, just
Yeah.
if you're using common sense, one would think that, right?
She's like one of their biggest streamers too.
Right.
She's the biggest streamer, or like the biggest female streamer there.
Well, the thing with Twitch though is that I've heard some things from other people
Yeah,
over time, little anecdotal stuff, you know, uh, as it relates to how even on Twitch, how people like to cut up, you know.
right,
I heard that people go on people's streams and, throw sexual innuendos, go on streams and say racist stuff. Even streamers be out here saying racist stuff.
right, right,
So I mean, again, the internet, see, this one, again, one of my issues with the internet in general, the internet is the wild, wild west,
yeah,
right?
right,
And the thing is, you have people who say stuff on the internet that you couldn't pay them to say in person. You can put a gun in their head and pay them to say that in person to somebody, right?
right.
And what is the internet has done a lot of times is it's emboldened these type of people, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Well, yeah, like go on, I apologize.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, yeah, I mean, I've seen people that are proudly harassing and defaming people. Like they're like literally sexually predatorial dudes, like enjoying the fact they're destroying a woman, saying no, or getting in her face, or libeling her because she told them no, or because she was a witness to them on something legal. And that would be retaliation, right? But the thing
Sure,
is that
absolutely.
the thing is that they're openly doing it. They got their little crew going around going, yeah, 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 you're awesome. And but the thing is that when you really look at it, it's like this stupid circle jerking that has actually, and a lot of these people have records. So you're just like,
My thing is,
okay,
even if they don't have records, it really comes
yeah,
down to this. Comes down to the
yeah,
fact that you got these people. I'm saying, and again, I'm not gonna single out dudes because there's other people who do it, but let's say dudes in particular.
mm,
Again, me being a dude, I can I think that I kind of speak to that a little bit.
right,
You got these guys who in the reality sphere, these
mm,
guys, a lot of these guys are been marginalized. And I'm not saying that from the racial standpoint. I'm saying from the standpoint of, they may not be the I'll hit this particular demographic first.
right,
You got the demographic where these guys aren't the guys who people consider commercially attractive.
right,
Uh you got these guys who are socially awkward,
right,
and their uh their social group is people online. And the thing is, a lot of, and like for especially the video game community, right?
right,
You get these dudes, they're playing games and whatnot, and it starts at a young age.
right.
I've seen these young guys talking about F this, in this,
Mhm.
this, that, and the other, on video games or whatever. And a lot of the video game servers, they don't police these kids.
No, it's the Wild
A
West.
lot of the
Discord
mods on
too.
the servers, they don't police these kids, you
Yeah,
know.
Discord too. Discord
Right, they
as
don't
well.
police them because, I mean, again, then this is my own personal belief. I believe they make a whole lot of money off letting that thing be the wild, wild west,
There you go.
is what
Yeah,
I
because
believe.
it's
Because, we live in capitalism. Capitalism does nothing unless there's a paycheck.
mm.
All right. So, I mean, again, but the thing about that again, it's a game to them because they're not the ones being targeted,
Well,
you
and also
know?
what's weird too is like, okay, we're talking about dudes that are socially awkward, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I've actually also observed too, which is weird because like there are some people like, oh, look at all the incels. No, you and I were used to them like basement dwelling virgins, whatever, right? But now incels, at least for me as a woman, now incels, they're no longer like the weird virginal dudes. These are guys that are married and have careers and
That
kids.
doesn't make them not incels.
Well, no, but the thing is, it's involuntary celibate, right? But
Well, the
here's the
thing
thing.
is this though, right? Like you
They,
take a guy who you take dudes who
yeah,
these guys. So you take somebody like Andrew Tate,
right,
somebody like him, right?
right,
Allegedly, this guy is sex trafficking.
right.
Allegedly,
Yeah, allegedly.
okay?
It's not been
Right. It's just
proven
allegedly. That's all
clinically.
we can say,
Right,
right?
right,
Allegedly, he's a sex trafficker.
right,
So the thing is with this guy, because we don't know why we wasn't there. That's why we got to say allegedly, and
right,
even everything else we got to say it's allegedly because we
right,
wasn't there.
right,
Allegedly this guy's sex trafficking.
right.
Okay. Now the thing is this. He's supposed to be buff, and he's out here. There's another, so that which just leads to the other community, not just the incels. Again, they were
Right.
saying that these guys are incels.
No,
There's
no,
what
they act like it.
right, but there's
They,
another community
right,
that's community is an incel community is part of a larger community. Basically, they
right.
call it the red pill community these days.
Okay.
Right. So the red pill community are these guys who are looking for these trad wives and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And the red pill community is basically a men's rights community
Mm-hmm.
taking it to the extreme
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, I mean, I can only from a black perspective, we got tons of them in the black community.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
there's one guy, who's this guy who just passed away not too long ago? What's this guy's name? Let me
And I'll
see.
go from that from as an Asian woman in a bit, once you look
Well, yeah, again, we're
deeply.
going to get to that
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the end of the
yeah,
day. So,
yeah.
what is this guy's name? Black Sphere. This guy's name. Kevin Samuels is this guy's name. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or not.
No, I actually haven't.
Huge in the black manosphere.
Oh, okay.
Huge. He passed away, ironically. He gave black women the blues.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away basically with a black woman trying to save his life.
Wow.
Unfortunately, that's how much. I mean, you can't write that. You can't write that on script. That's irony, right?
Mm,
But the thing was, Kevin Samuels, he died. He was 53 when he passed away in 2022. This
mm,
guy, he would basically, get women on the show. The women he's getting on that show, I used to wonder. I said, he got to be paying these women or something. I don't know what
right.
it is because he would dog these sisters. I mean, just the sisters would be like, I got value. I'm a valuable sister. This and this. That's why no man don't want you. You don't do this, and he would like clinically destroy these women.
Mm,
These young black guys, ate it up. I even knew look, there are people I knew even in my own sphere
mm,
that would often come to me asking me what I thought about what he said. Well, I'm basically like this. Hey, buddy, if you look at the history of
mm,
black people, when it comes to trying to protect uh black people in the whole, you can't. The history is clear, showing that black women bust their ass to protect black people as a whole.
mm,
So then you take that and you add it into this uh false narrative of masculinity. That's
mm,
what it is. A false narrative of masculinity. Like my uncle, we my uncle talked, and there's been times he talked about, his friends being raised by John Wayne movies.
yeah.
That's fake.
Mm,
But again, Hollywood in and of itself has been pushing that narrative for ever since, you was able to put something on celluloid, right? So,
right.
I mean, again, it with these guys,
Mm,
what happens is you have a society which tries to mold, which basically tries to mold people into archetypes.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you can't fit into that archetype, you're going to lash out. Or if somebody else doesn't want to uh, acquiesce to your view of yourself in that archetype, you're going to lash out. And that's what it is. These guys, they hate women. These guys actually believe that
Mhm.
they have a right to women's bodies, to women's, and they hate female autonomy, or they hate women's autonomy. They
Mhm.
hate that. They despise it.
I think, and I'm just saying from my experience as an Asian woman,
Mhm.
the most damaging thing that I've seen is guys that try to pose as progressive or liberal. And then they start, and usually they're white men, not all the time, but I have seen this. And I'm saying pose, right? What they do is that they go like, oh yeah, I'm your friend and I believe in body autonomy. I'm going to go and trash whoever's in office, blah, 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 because it suits this mold that I want you to feel safe. And then when you feel safe and I can trust you, I'm going to go and try to destroy you if you tell me no. And I have seen too many examples of that. I have experienced that personally as an Asian woman. And they are mad that I'm not this little geisha little thing that's passive, which I'm not. But it's very interesting that, for these people, they're so threatened by me. And I think it's actually pretty terrible on a certain level. It's like I don't have a right to say no. I don't
Every
have a right.
Asian woman that I've known that
Yeah.
has been in that space
Yeah.
has basically explained to me what you're explaining to me right now.
Yeah, and it's like they gaslight you. Oh, you pick
Mhm.
fights all the time. It's like what? Telling a person that's being a piece of crap to me, fuck off.
Let me
Yeah,
tell you what Malcolm X says about liberals.
oh
Malcolm X
yeah, I think I
says,
know about this quote, but
he
yeah, go
says
ahead,
the
say it.
white liberals are more dangerous than the conservatives. They lure the Negro, and it's particularly about black people. And as the Negro runs from the growling wolf, conservatives, he flees into the open jaws of the smiling fox, the liberals.
Oh yeah. Like
That's what he
you'll have
said.
these guys go to women's movement saying, I believe in body autonomy and just totally I'm not saying if a guy just says, abortion's cool, I believe women can vote or whatever. No, these are guys that constantly go on about it. You
Right.
know what they do? They're the first one to sexually assault you a
Sure,
lot of the time.
absolutely. Absolutely.
They're the ones to do
Absolutely.
it or beat you or abuse you. And I've
Sure.
seen too many examples of
Sure.
that where they go on and one space like, oh yeah, I hate the current administration, blah, blah, blah. And I'm all for freedom and everything. And I hate them and this and the women's body autonomy. But then the next moment, they have no problems attacking a woman, ganging up and attacking a woman, especially an Asian one. I've seen it too
Well,
many times.
again, I think that at the end, and so what that really, this is my opinion.
Hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Where that comes from is the unfair box that Asian women have been put in. I mean, in the society, Asian
Hmm.
women, all these movies and all this other bull, excuse my language, is bullshit. Takes and tries to tell us the Asian woman is this, that, and the other. Oh, she's demure, she's family oriented. She's the perfect wife. You got these passport bros running to
Oh yeah.
Thailand, running, all that to Philippines and whatever, you
Mail order
know,
bride.
right,
Mail order
trying
bride.
to
Yeah.
get these young women,
Hmm.
thinking that that's who these people are. And to some
Ironically.
extent, you have people, and again, I'm not victim blaming.
Right.
That's not my thing.
Right.
But you have people because they have to survive
Right.
trying to fit into these modes for survival purposes.
Well, you also have to notice like the places we just listed have a lot of sex trafficking.
Right.
And
Sex
sex
trafficking,
trafficking is everywhere,
poverty.
but in those areas, there's a lot of that
They go
shit
to
going
China
on.
for it too, though. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
the
human
thing.
trafficking in general, yeah, like a
Well, no, I
lot
was
of,
saying I was watching this documentary
yeah.
that was talking about the upper middle class Chinese woman,
Hmm.
and some of these women's because of the imbalance. Obviously, there's more men in China than there are women.
Yeah, because of their one child
Imbalance,
policy.
right? Because of child policy,
Yeah.
and talking about the imbalance and talking about what they expected in the guy.
Hmm.
And the thing is, what they expected in this guy was basically standards that, for the most part, these guys they just couldn't meet them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You got a million dudes, you know, being able you got a million dudes being able to
Yeah.
to fit one at a standard is a hard thing to do. Billions of dudes, right? So I mean
Mm,
again, it's society from a matriarchal from a patriarchal standard.
mm,
And that's what it is, the patriarchy, uh
mm.
telling men what they need to be. And then you got women who buying into the patriarchy too.
Yeah. Well, and also what I think is really kind of silly is that these same guys, like the really posing as very liberal dudes,
Hmm.
trying to go and get women alone, the predators, I'll say
Sure.
the
And there's plenty
predators,
of them
because I
out
don't
here.
want to, yeah. And the thing is that they will go out of their way to essentially, as I said, make you feel safe and all that. But the thing is that they're like, oh yeah, well, like nobody should ever hurt a woman, and they're the first to either turn away or jump on to hurt a woman
This is a thing,
in
right?
a gang
Sure.
situation kind of thing.
Well,
Not Crip blood type stuff, but they'll gang up because they're
well,
like
the
beta
thing
males.
at the end of the day is that, see, that's the whole thing though, too, right? The
Yeah.
guy, when people talk about alpha and beta, it's hilarious to me. Just like when people talk about IQ.
Right.
Those measures have been debunked by the people who created those measures years ago.
Yeah.
Like the alpha male, beta male. It started with a wolf pack where some dude, the guy can't remember the dude's name. He
Right.
really he thought he understood the relationships in wolf pack when in fact they were far more complicated than that.
Well,
And
there's
he had
alpha
to
and
come back.
sigma and
Well, yeah, he had no,
beta
but
and
he
all
had
that.
just the entire hierarchy was bullshit.
Right.
He
Right.
came back later on and said, I had no idea the bullshit that was coming out of my mouth when I proposed these theories. And he debunked every last one of those theories. So
Mm,
even with IQ, you hear people talk about these low IQ individual, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The people who actually came up with IQ as a measure did the
mm,
same thing
mm.
in the 70s. Debunked that bullshit.
Right. Right.
So that's why I'm trying to be very careful about even repeating that shit. Because it's like, hey, man, I'm an
Mm.
alpha male. It's like, get the fuck on out of here.
Oh yeah.
It's
Well, the thing
that's
is
all that's a bunch of pop psychology.
well, and here's the thing too. It's like, let's say if you believed it, it's like if you're technically an alpha male or female, you wouldn't be going around saying it. You would just be who you are.
I
If
think
you're going according to that description, I'm just
sure,
saying.
humanity
If
is
you, yeah,
complicated. Humanity is
yeah,
super complicated.
right.
So, you know, anybody who tells you some shit like that, I'm an alpha male. It's like, first of all, I'm very leery of anybody who toots their own horn.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because it's like
You
there's the thing
know?
about owning stuff. There's a thing about owning it, and there's another
Sure.
thing about saying like, like it's like for some women, it's like they go, I'm hot, I'm a boss bitch, I'm a boss bitch. It's like, really, why the fuck do you keep saying it?
Right. If you need to toot your own horn, buddy, you might want to check yourself a little bit. You might that says a lot more about you than you think. At
Yeah,
the end of the day, right?
they think confidence is like this constant thing of external validation. Now, I'm not saying there shouldn't be ever external validation. You do need some feedback. But the thing is that you have to have a lot of strong internal validation for yourself to be confident.
Well, I'll say this
Like,
to you, right?
yeah, right,
I'll say this to you.
right.
There is a place in, I believe it's I think it's in North Africa. Might can't remember. It might be a
Mm.
society in Mauritania, maybe I think, where they feed women. They feed them because they want to be big.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
Being
Yeah,
big
I've heard of that.
is a beauty standard because that shows that you're healthy and you can bear children, and that shows that somebody's been treating you right.
Right,
All
right.
right, that's not the beauty standard. That's not the European beauty standard. That's not the Asian beauty standard. But it's a beauty standard that is embraced by other humans.
Yeah.
So again, we it's the everybody people trying to fit in these boxes, right?
Mm,
And when they can't fit in these boxes, or to try to gain advantage,
right.
or what they perceive to be an advantage, right? So,
Right.
if I go get big and buff from an alpha male, then people gonna respect me, this and that, and this and the other. If I got cars and this, people gonna respect me, blah blah blah. I'm like this. I'm gonna say this to you. I say this to people about wealth. The wealthiest people on this planet, if you saw them in the supermarket, you walk right past them. All
Go
right.
to Silicon Valley. I know what you mean.
Right. They're not driving no Lamborghini. They're not doing none of that shit.
Right,
Shit, I think Warren Buffett drives the same Buick and goes to the same freaking McDonald's drive-through he's been going through for the last 50 years.
right,
You know what I mean? That's the thing. So,
right,
and so ultimately, look, while, so, to bring this part of the conversation back full circle,
right.
while ultimately, or I'll say it like this: the people who are being bullied, are having their mental health put run through the ringer.
Hmm.
And to believe it or not, the people who are doing the bullying, their mental health is going through the ringer alongside the people they're bullying. Because misery loves company. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
Hmm.
You feel miserable. You feel like, oh, I can't get a girl. They say that, if I be this way, I should be to get a girl. If I'm kind, like you were just saying a minute ago, if I'm kind and I show them that I'm kind, then I should be able to get a girl, and it's not working, boom, I hate these bitches. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? It goes to the extreme, right? But that right
Right,
there but see, what that shows, and this is something that I've personally been seeing as I'm getting older, and again, stop me if you think that I'm going too far, because again, at the
right,
end of the day, these are just theories.
right.
Okay. The concept of emotional intelligence is something that I've kind of been uh vibe or why have I been mulling about for a while lately. I'm saying yeah, it's just been for a minute.
In what way? Like,
And emotional intelligence, well, the thing is this, right? You have what I call rote physical, you have intelligence that involves things that affect the physical world and things like that, right? But
right.
we're emotional beings, right?
Hmm.
And when people talk about development, what they're really talking about is emotional development,
Right.
right? If you have a person who coddles you all the time that's your parent, and they
Hmm.
make you think that you can get everything you want and you don't have to any feedback or pushback, you're going to grow into a person who have low emotional intelligence, right? You got a person who never felt the warmth of a parent and you had a parent that never let them fail and never told them that it was okay to fail because failing is learning. You're going to
Right.
have an individual that grows up with low emotional intelligence.
Yeah. Both extremes are never good.
Right. Both extremes never good. You got a situation where unfortunately, you got a young person who, the world has been crapping on them,
Hmm.
and nobody's been there to advocate for them and explain to them that the world is crapping on them because the world is shitty instead of them being shitty.
Hmm.
You're gonna have a situation to where this
Hmm.
person's gonna be scarred,
Right.
wondering why it is that they're not being advocated for. Because these people with low emotional intelligence are beating up on them. Okay, so I mean, again, the society. One thing that pisses me off about society as a whole is that
Hmm.
it like to throw a rock and then hide his hand behind his back like it didn't throw the rock.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like lack of consequence, quote unquote, or
Right.
lack of
If
accountability.
you look
Yeah.
at Facebook,
Yeah.
Facebook is a turmoil engine. Twitter, a turmoil engine.
Right.
And again, they operate just like the rest of the media.
Hmm.
If it bleeds, it leads.
Right.
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 So as it relates to the stuff that like happened at TwitchCon, and also want to get into uh some other things as it relates to these things.
Right.
Social media, and the key term is media, is sensationalizing, the things that help to bring this stuff about. Now, again, social media is just a microcosm of the country and the society,
Hmm.
right? I mean, or wrong, this is just again, this is me theorizing. That's all it is.
Right. Right.
Social media is a microcosm of the society, and the society is all about pushing people into boxes. That way you can commoditize them easier.
Well, I can see that. I can see that. For me, I think like emotional intelligence, it's just like tolerance or whatever. A lot of people say it for clout
Mm.
to sound good, and really they don't mean it.
Let me
It's
ask
like,
you one question too before you go any further.
yeah.
Tolerance. Why do you tolerate something that is supposed to be a part of is supposed to be a part of is supposed to be a part of the just society?
Hmm. So for me, this is the thing. What I mean by tolerance is that like, oh, I'm tolerant towards other people. Then they turn around and berate that group of people. And then they go ahead and they start saying really hateful things. It's like, but in a moment you just said you just are tolerant of these people. Then I'm not saying these people like in a racial way. I'm just saying in a group or as a
Sure.
label. And then they'll go off about it, like how much they want them to die, to like more real hatred and all that. And you're like, wait a
That
minute.
because that after they get their way, or that after they realize they're not gonna get their way, or before.
No, it was just like literally, it's like it's a 180 like in a second, like literally a day
Right,
or
but
so later.
but something triggered that 180, right? Usually, right?
Sometimes I really can't see because I don't have an insight into their lives, even though these are people that put all their lives up
I
there.
can bet you $1,000 that if a person acts A and then diametrically becomes C, there was a trigger somewhere.
That's the thing. It's like people go around going, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. And it's like, I'm being triggered by everything. It's like, to a point, I understand certain things can be traumatic and that's hard for you to deal with. I've been through my share of crap, but you got to deal with it because you can't go through your life emotionally hyper reactive all the time. You just can't. It's not good for you.
We ethnic minorities in a country that was built on racism and white supremacy. And so we see microaggressions every day. My thing about the trigger warnings
Mm.
is this.
Is it what? I couldn't hear
I
you.
said, my thing about the trigger warnings is simply this. What do you think people are going to do if they're put in a pressure cooker for how many hundreds of years
Mm.
in their own homeland and when they get to this place? Do you think that they're going to be the bastion of mental health and clarity? No. What's going on in this society is its chickens are coming home to roost, as Malcolm X would put it. This society is putting so much pressure on people to achieve at false levels, to conform to a false narrative that people are being triggered and they are being squished to the point to where they're reacting. And it's
I
not
think also,
always and it's not and usually it's not in a good way. Like for
no.
example, you got these guys who just out of the blue in Australia just start shooting at people in Jewish congregation, shooting at them, pow, 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 pow.
Mm.
So you're gonna go do that, okay? You shooting at them, you kill them, whatever, right? So, which is horrible.
Right.
Yet you got Palestine, you got things going on in Palestine, you got things going on all over the Middle East, right?
Mm.
And the people in control there, the rich
Mm.
in the Middle East, are just as complicit as the Israeli government in letting this shit happen. You'll see them going over there shooting up the Qataris. It's because of the narrative,
Mm.
right? It's because of the narrative. You got people in Israel who buy the narrative. You got people you got people all over the world who buy the narrative.
Mm.
Even like black people in this country,
Mm.
views, for example, we buy the narrative.
Mm.
All we gotta do is get some money, and then you know they'll respect us. Black excellence, blah 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 blah. Blah. Look, at the end of the day, I'll say this: supremacy and tyranny work like this, especially in the capitalist country. You have to have somebody at the bottom. And what was so cool was great for them having black people is because we are easily identifiable.
Mm.
So guess what? We're at the bottom, and we also serve as a warning to the rest of you. Get out of hand, and we're going to do to you the same thing we do to them.
Mm,
And a lot of people buy it. A lot of quote unquote ethnic minorities buy it. I don't want to be them. And so that's also another price of being a quote unquote American is buying into the racism, white supremacy.
mm,
My thing is this, I ask people this question all the time. And this is going to go back to the larger narrative of bullying that we're talking about.
right.
First of all, they talk about black people being criminal, this and this. How can 13% of the population do 85% of the crime? It's a mathematical impossibility.
Mm,
All right, number one. Number two, what really have black people done to other people in this country to where they're hated so?
mm.
I mean, you ever stop to ask yourself that question?
I've thought about it.
What have what we done? Oh, I can answer the question for you. We don't want to work for that ass for free no more. That's what we did.
There you go.
Capitalism, like, what the fuck? Are you got to be crazy? You won't
Mm,
let us capitalize on you? But so again, that comes back to this, to
mm,
the main gist of what we're talking about is this.
right.
You have a whole lot of people who can't fit into the boxes that they definitely want to fit into. And those people, for the boxes to work, you have to buy into it too.
Well, and also I think
Asian,
it's,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, it's like this. In some of my experience, it's like people lying to themselves in general.
Sure, that's
Like,
what the capitalism is, all lies.
well, it's just lying to itself themselves. I think it's aside from anything really. Like I've seen other people from other backgrounds and countries, they just lie to themselves about shit. As I said, fitting itself into a box of what society does. And I
Mhm.
think right now in contempt of like what I have a contempt for, and then I was kind of thinking that as you were talking about it, just talking about in general, just it would formulate in my head. It's very interesting how in some of the nerd communities they'll do this. Oh, like this place is dangerous and this thing is dangerous and in our space it's dangerous. And they say, let's make a safe space. And they create anything else but.
Sure, it's just another. You ever read Lord of the Flies?
Oh, I've read Lord of the Flies. And number two,
It's
here's
like
another
Lord of the
thing
Flies.
too.
All
No,
right.
number thing
And,
aside
and
from Lord of
Animal
the
Farm. You ever read Animal
I've
Farm?
read Animal Farm. Yeah, it's like this. My whole thing is that what I've seen is like they're just like this. Oh, you got to protect the women and their rights and everything. And then the moment a woman gets bullied, or if a woman actually has helped another woman, guess what? They turn their backs on that person
You
or
have to.
jump into it.
You can protect women. You have to ally with women.
These
You
people don't,
ally you.
and
But
some of them
that
are
please.
actually women, and some of them are actually women.
Well,
They'll
okay.
actually
So
buy into
that's
the
a good point.
narrative of that
That's a
of
good
that
point.
incel community right there. Whether or not they're married, have kids or careers or whatever, it's just that's
Let me
how they
ask
are.
you this question, right? You got
Mhm.
some of them are actually women, right? What are
Mhm.
they gaining? What do they gain from this behavior?
Well, in this case, with some of the women, they gain the men and the other women that buy into it's this fucked up people's behavior. It's like, well, they're targeting this person and I get clout and I get power. And number two, I'll get their approval. The
I watched.
very same women that go on about it, they want the approval of the patriarchy the most.
Sure. Look, I watched this woman named Jenny Gage. She used to be a trad Mormon wife, right? And
Right.
she admittedly said I was a white supremacist. I was all this, right? And so she talks about the the dynamics and the structure
Mm,
of white supremacy in this country, right?
mm,
And she also talks about how, she bought into it and the characteristics of who she was when she bought into it. She's really, really interesting, right? And
mm,
listening to her, I could, so basically she basically describes it all as a cult,
mm,
okay? And the patriarchy in and of itself is a cult. Because again, we call it white supremacy or whatever, blah, 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 split, but really the patriarchy. It's white patriarchy,
mm.
at the end of the day, You
What I
got,
find
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I apologize. I
No, no, no,
was
you go,
going
you
like
got, go ahead.
it brings up to this other point. Like I kind of have to laugh about some people
Mhm.
because of this. They'll go like, "Well, I just want to put up an encouraging post for you today, and I just want to tell you you're all okay." And I'm thinking to myself, it's really funny because sometimes we've unfortunately, people that kill themselves, right?
Sure,
unfortunately.
sure, sure.
And when I heard that, I just had to laugh. I was like, oh, you're all sad that this person died. And you're all like, when he announced like he really couldn't take it anymore, yeah, y'all jumped in and tried to help him, but were you really there for him? And it's like, no, you guys just only give a fuck when that person's dead. You
Well,
really do not care.
do they really give a fuck even then? See, this is the thing about
That's
people.
the thing. It's like it's a clout thing. It's like, I want to look appropriate. It's like you can't grieve privately, can you?
Right. So what are they doing? So what are they really doing? What did we just say they were doing? Trying to fit themselves into what? A box.
Yeah.
This
And it's
box
like if
right
you're
here
in
is
media,
attractive. This is
yeah,
attractive box, got a bow on it. I want to fit myself into it, right? I mean,
right.
even from a suicidal standpoint, I have some unpopular opinions as it relates to suicide. I'm like this. Look, buddy, hey, that's that person's right.
Hmm.
Whether you like it or not, that's their right because it's their life.
My
Is it
message
gonna
to
hurt
every
people around them? Fuck yeah, it's gonna
right,
hurt people around them.
right.
But ultimately, who am I gonna tell somebody that this life is so, oh, life is fucked up, my life is fucked up. I don't live their life. Hell, I'm gonna tell somebody, well, you know what? My life is so, you should try to live it out. It's like I don't live their life. I can
I
try
think
my best to
that's
be there for them and to
yeah,
talk to them about what it is that's fucking with them. But hey, if that person at that point made that decision, buddy,
right. And
most
here's the
times it
thing.
ain't nobody nothing can stop.
And here's the thing, even like helping people that are suicidal, and I'm not saying you, but it's just what I've noticed. It's like you don't really help. You just coddle. It's like when you talk to somebody that's suicidal, like I've had friends that are suicidal, you really have to be there for them. You have to stretch, I wouldn't say stretch your neck out all this, but you have to really listen to them. And most people are just like, oh, just work hard. You'll be fine when they're
Most
going
people
through some
talk
real
at them.
shit.
Most people don't listen to them. Most people talk at
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Most
And
people try
here's
to shove their belief system down that person's throat.
yeah, and that's not okay. Like for
Right.
me personally, 99.9% of people that commit suicide, they don't deserve it. They're usually going through some shit of their own.
Well,
But
I don't think deserving it is even a measure of that because
yeah,
at the end of
yeah,
the day, like I said, we don't know what that person is dealing with. We have no
right.
idea. We live
And
our own
again,
life. We don't live their lives.
well, hold on. I'm just saying that
Oh,
that is just my thing that I've
oh,
realized about it. Oh, it's saying that I'm raising my hand. I'm just gesticulating.
oh, that's pretty
But the
cool. Look
thing is,
at that.
yeah, right. But here's the thing. It's like when I say it in those contexts, I'm not judging the person. It's just like that's kind of how it is, guys. Like you got to see it for what it is. And the thing is that in some cases in my life where I've gone through really hard shit, and again, I won't get into it, there's a lot of shit. You know, some of it, whatever. But the thing is, my conclusion and my thing is that I realize no one is worth doing that over.
Well,
Now, here's
this,
the thing.
no, sorry, go
That's
ahead.
a really hard place to get into. When I say it to people, I say it in context to me. I said, I have realized there's nobody worth doing it. But I don't judge a person negatively if they don't
Well,
feel that because it takes a lot to get there.
sometimes it's not even people involved. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's just this person, how these people have been squished in this box so
right.
much that they don't, that they feel like it's the shit just too much for them.
Well,
You
yeah, and
know?
that's the thing too. I'm talking about in terms of bullying, like when I've talked to people that are bullying and they feel worthless. I
Right.
said,
Well, see, even with the bullying, right? So let's say
yeah,
we talk about, let's say we're gonna get to Squid Kid 111,
and then Ash, right?
right, Ash, right? It's the same
Yeah,
person, right? So
right, right. Oh,
them,
okay, okay.
yeah, them taking their lives because, as a cosplayer, they've been bullied by cosplayers, non-black cosplayers, for cosplaying people that weren't quote unquote black.
Oh, yeah,
You know, my thing. So again, obviously, that's the stupidest shit you ever heard in your entire life.
right,
I mean, in terms of these gatekeepers, and that's another
right.
thing, about the fandoms that it just intrigues me. These fandoms, you know. All right, so again, let's give you back to Ash.
Right,
Ash was doing what Ash loved. Ash
right,
loved cosplaying. That made
right.
Ash feel good. That made Ash feel seen. That made Ash, and again, Ash made some. I'm looking at some of her work, of some of their work, because I don't know what their pronouns are.
Mm,
I was looking at some of their work, and It was amazing, phenomenal.
Mm,
And so in a podcast for my main group of guys who I work with, we have a company podcast, and so for that podcast, we were able to interview Persona Midnight, right?
yeah, yeah.
Amazing cosplayer. That
Wow.
person, boy, the stuff that the costume that she makes, I mean, she's just amazing, right? This
Right,
cosplaying it's an art, obviously, right? And these people
right,
may do some amazing work.
right.
And so, because you got these people who couldn't give Ash her due in the fact her cosplays were amazing, they had to shit on her because at the end of the day, they had to find something wrong because the damn sure wasn't her cosplays.
Right, right.
They had to pile on this sister and make her feel less than in something where she should have been where she should have been on top of the world.
Yeah. That's really
Right?
sad. That's
Right.
really awful.
But it says some other things too.
Right.
What it also says is because I'm not kids, we all look for acceptance, especially when we're
Right.
young, we look for acceptance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing worse than not being accepted in your chosen area
Hmm.
where you are putting in everything you have to
Hmm.
show some type of mastery. That's painful.
Right.
All right. Now, besides that, who knows what else this young woman was dealing with? The black community, unfortunately, when you're younger, I'll say, when you're younger, because it changes as you get older. The
Hmm.
black community, unfortunately, is not very kind to people who do things that are considered non-black.
Hmm.
So we have our own issues in our own community. So you take that and you couple it with, the stuff that she's getting from the other side, the young woman got no place to go.
Isolation, it sucks.
It's isolated.
Yeah.
Boy, mind plays tricks on you when you're isolated, doesn't it?
Well, that's why they tell you like go outside and walk outside of your environment or do
Right.
something. Like for me, I work in my office, but
Mhm.
I've learned that to help with things and to self-regulate, you journal, you go out and you actually physically move your body. You just kind of
Sure.
go back to a base level of reality
Sure.
to ground yourself. And I don't think a lot of people are really taught that. It's like they're not taught to go and ground. They go like, well, you got to breathe, you got to do this. It's like, okay, but what's the mental space
But
you
you
got to
just
think about
kind of
and
think
take
about
it
the
and
fact
assess?
that this young woman with all that talent, all those years ahead of her,
Right.
because of people and situations that ultimately, and from a temporal standpoint, were too much for her because, you get older, you start to realize things, right? But
Hmm.
at that particular point, these forces were weighing on this young woman so heavily
Right.
that she felt that's what she had to do. I'll start with not being accepted by your own people as it relates to black people. I'll start there first, right?
Right.
We can be some cruel people.
Right.
Now, when people say black people are very accepting people, they're accepting to a point.
Right.
But don't mess around and be part of one of these religious denominations either. It's a wrap because you know you're because with a lot of these religious denominations, what they're trying to do is normalize this same white patriarchy, but in the black community.
Right.
So you got no place to go there. Then you
Right.
got the same racism, white supremacy in the fandom,
Hmm.
right? Where you get these people who are quote unquote looked at as misanthropes in their own community. So they'll come to the anime manga community
Hmm.
and they'll be like, oh, well, uh, that character's white, that this and this and the other. It's like, look, that character's white once they cross, that character's white once they cross the Pacific Ocean.
right.
Because in Japan, they damn sure ain't white.
I think with Japan, they're just happy like with them cosplaying the characters that they cosplay because it's like a lot of those characters are white and it's like they're Japanese and they're cosplaying they're a white person. So it's like or whatever.
Right,
So
but
it's like
again,
they kind of
that
don't care as much.
well, the thing I also think.
My thoughts.
Well, no, I also think with that
Mm-hmm.
that as I said before, racism and white supremacy has permeated every corner of this globe, and
Mm-hmm.
being white adjacent is seen as something that is a plus instead of a minus.
Mm-hmm.
So I've often wondered why the Japanese have such a fixation with the Germans in manga and anime.
Well,
Oh,
we could talk about back that time and shit,
I'm just
but
saying though, it's just I often wondered that. Me and Jeff, me and my buddy Jeff ponder that all the time. Uh,
I I think like I will say the Imperial Japanese, I will stress that the Imperial Japanese at that time, I mean, I think it was just the Axis that they sided with. I'm trying to think of like all
well, I
the
mean,
things
this is
because
today, this right now.
Mm. Well, it's weird because like they actually had, I mean, this is years ago, but it was like 2011. They had like Hitler advertising at air conditioning. It's like, what the hell is
Well,
this?
all right, I'll say this to you. Like, I love this anime called Violet Evergarden, right?
Right.
Love this thing, right? Man, these guys, look, they basically it's set in this fictitious World War I
Hmm.
European theater, right?
Right.
And it's like, man, you guys got an affectation for this shit.
Oh, you should look at Hitalia. Hitalia is crazy.
I've seen Natalia
It,
too. It's just
yeah.
crazy, right?
It's like, who would have thought that? Like, all the warring countries of both Axis and Allied powers are cute men and women in
Sure,
their 20s. And
sure.
you're like,
Well, I mean, again, though, it's just funny though, at the end of the day, just even some of the mores of that fandom. Now,
mm,
again, like I said, these people, the people who were saying this stuff to her,
mm,
obviously, they see the world through a race a racist context. They see, and again, that's okay because the majority of the people who they're around probably see the world in that same racist context.
right.
We think one thing about black people is this, right? We got what we call the blurred community, right? The
Oh,
black
I
nerd,
heard about that. Yeah.
right?
The blur community.
Right.
There's like the
The-
black nerd. That's the guy I'm familiar with on that.
Well, the blurred community is kind of funny, right? Because one
No,
thing I
there's a
find,
guy called the black nerd. That's his
oh yeah,
thing.
yeah, I know, I've seen the
Mhm.
guy. I've seen he has a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah,
YouTube
I've seen
channel. He's
it.
got an Instagram. I
Yeah,
met him
I've
once.
seen his YouTube channel before. One thing
Right.
about the blurred community,
Mm,
the black nerd community in general, things that you kind of that I find to be kind of indicative of that community. You
mm,
know, uh, one thing that I find to be kind of indicative of the community is if it comes to Japan or one of their fandoms, they will contort themselves into pretzels to defend that fandom. That fandom could be tossing babies over the sides of skyscrapers, and they'll try to defend it one way
So
or
they
another.
do weeaboo shit, basically.
Why? Well, again, if you weeaboo shit, other shit, right? Even comic shit, they'll try to defend it, right?
Right. Well, that's, I
And
mean, weeaboo stuff to do
right,
with
right, right.
Japan.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah, yeah, right.
manga and
So
everything.
they,
Yeah.
they do that a lot of that.
Hmm.
And only when stuff like this happens, where Ash, decides to take her own life, do they have to sit down and really take stock
Right.
of what the reality is that they face. And then they'll
Right.
go back to business as usual.
Right.
You know,
Right.
uh, the people who, and there have been other people too that I've seen in that space, the anime
Hmm.
manga space, even white people,
Hmm.
who approach it like the approach is as if they have some type of moral high ground or moral knowledge that no one else has. It's like you in the same position that black person is as it relates to that fandom, buddy. You're not Japanese, you're not inside of there, but because again, white hegemony, they believe that wherever they go, they should be hailed as the apex person
Hmm.
there. So I mean, again, excuse me. I mean, again, uh, that kind of what so ultimately this kind of leads back to, the toxicity of the fandom.
Hmm.
It's everywhere. You got the toxicity
Right.
of the Star Wars fandom.
Oh, yeah.
You got monstrous levels of toxicity of the Star Wars fandom. I can't remember the one young woman who was supposed to who played a played one of the Inquisitors in Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
I think
They
so, yeah.
gave, yeah, her name was Moses, something, this young sister's name. They gave her the blues. To her credit, oh, she didn't fold, buddy. She didn't fold at all.
Right,
She was just
right.
like, shit. Her, she's like this, man, fuck you. All right. And I'm respect due, sister, respect due.
Yeah. No, I get you on that.
It's the
Yeah.
fandoms are toxic, and it's funny. I tell you, this is what has me laughing, right? The most. Why are you injecting politics into Star Wars? You ever watch Star Wars? It's
Do you
all
have
it
the
is
Senate?
one
Do you
big
have
pop,
all
one
this other
big
stuff?
right. It's all it is one big political theater. That's the whole damn thing. Then you got people talking about Star Trek. Why are you putting wokeness into Star Trek? Have you ever watched Star Trek?
I mean, the
Star
thing
Trek
is, Star
was
Trek was supposed to be very progressive
Star
in a
Trek
very
was
convincing, in a very genuine way. That's what I
Star
was looking
Trek
for.
was woke from its inception. That's what
Right.
it was supposed to be,
Right.
quote unquote woke. So I mean, again, these
Now,
people. I'm
whenever
sorry.
you say, whenever so, I'm sorry, I have to interject one thing. Whenever I hear about Star Trek, I just think of Eddie Murphy going, "Oh, you know that green bitch. I don't know why I'd be fucking that green bitch." It's delirious. Sorry, if I was chuckling, that was not because of, yeah, it's like, where he took, those rectangular cameras. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
pull her in
yeah,
it.
right.
And he took a picture, said, "Now you have a picture of Eddie Murphy's dick," like shit
No,
like that.
crazy.
Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
That's
if
fucking
I was chuckling, I was
hilarious.
not laughing at you. It
No,
was just
no,
like,
no,
I
no, no,
just think
not
of
at
that.
all. Just again, we gotta have these moments.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so it's just the fandom. Well, so I mean, I gotta ask you this. What do you think? Where do you think the toxicity of the fandom? What is the genesis of the toxicity in the fandom, do you think?
To be really frank, we talked about EQ.
Okay.
We literally have people that really don't port what's important compared to other things and to really live and let live with people in the fandom.
Okay.
So the thing is that like going back to Ash and cosplay, I actually I had a chance to look at some of her work. Yeah, this is my black cat. She's evil.
Uh
Say hi, Ink. I gotta
I
put her
still
down.
I steal
Sorry.
cats.
Yeah, yeah. So, so the thing is that I looked at Ash's stuff. It's really good. Like
She's
I'm
amazing.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a look briefly while we were talking because I wanted to catch up on it because I'm not totally on top of the cosplay
Sure, sure,
world.
sure.
I like know Yaya Han and a few other people, but
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yaya does some amazing shit. Yeah.
Yeah, she's fucking that girl hustles. And even when, let's say, oh God, Joanne's went down, she
Hmm.
still is like going looking for a place to sell her patterns. Like
Hmm.
she doesn't quit. But I know it can be exhausting, but I just look at it's like the EQ and maturity. And I don't mean maturity as in dull, but the thing is that there are people that work really hard and do really good things, but the people, and I'm sorry to say, that are fucking lazy and not cutting it, they lack the maturity to say, hey, I need up my game. I need to sharpen my iron. Let me keep to my line. No, you know what? They sit around and bitch. They sit around and try to do the, I'm doing a safe space. I'm doing this. And they don't do shit like that at all. They
Okay.
don't listen to people. They
Right.
don't do all the things we've been talking about.
Hmm.
And then they go and say, oh, you're fucking doing this. Let me incite a mob against you
Hmm.
of like-minded people like me. It's unfortunately
Almost like a
typical
cult,
mean
huh?
girl shit,
Almost like
but
a
it
cult.
goes to everybody.
Is that
Hmm?
cultish?
What?
And would that be considered cultish?
Oh, I think so because they buy their own bullshit all the time.
Right.
Like half these people, it's like they, here's the thing. I have friends that have bipolar disorder, they have
Mhm.
chronic depression, even paranoid schizophrenia.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
not talking about them because even they get pissed off. But whenever they see somebody ranting about how their depression is, they read it and they're like, that pisses me off because in the post, the person says, don't give me any advice. And they're like, why? Why the fuck you posting it? These are people with these disorders, right? Telling me this. And they don't kick. And then the thing is, the people don't take care of themselves to take care of it to help their life get easier. I mean, this is aside from the people that can't afford it. Okay, that's a different thing. But even people that I know that have things like bipolar disorder, mental disorders, depression, whatever, they're just like, I do what I need to do to take care of myself to get to where I need to be.
Well, isn't that a journey though? I mean, like those people who say, I want to hear any, because I've known those people who say,
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
hear
I mean,
anything, whatever.
again,
It's like, okay, it's okay, cool. And you don't give them anything, right? You just,
yeah.
let them be their own. And you hope that they'll
Yeah.
get to the point to where they'll be like, okay, well,
I
maybe
think,
maybe I do need to reach out, I mean,
yeah,
but
I mean, it's not like they're just totally shitty on them or something. It's just they're kind of tired of the people that just sit there and they bitch all the time. It's not like they complain because they don't know or they're looking for help. There's kind of a difference and a different vibe to it.
well, I
That's what
guess
I'm,
what you're talking about is
yeah,
people who uh
they,
latch on to the
yeah,
sympathies that people who are really going through things get.
yeah.
That's really
Well,
what
like,
you're kind of talking about, right?
for example, autism. I have friends on the spectrum, a lot of them,
Mhm.
right? They get pissed at the people that act like total fucking undisciplined assholes. And then at the end of the day, the person says, well, I'm autistic. That means you can't go and tell me about anything. And they hate people like that. It's like, you are making me look bad, kind of thing.
Well,
It's not like, oh, I have untreated autism and I'm trying to figure out what I have. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But the people that said, I'm self-diagnosed autistic.
hold up, you just said the key word right there.
Yeah, self-diagnosed.
Self-diagnosed.
Yeah. As I said, like one person got angry at me because it's like, well, you mock me because I'm a self-diagnosed autistic person. It's like, no, because you're a bitch.
Well, my
I
thing
don't
is
like
this,
you because you're
man.
a fucking bitch.
This
I
is
have plenty of friends on the spectrum and they think you're fucking an asshole. They think you're stupid too.
well, that's the whole thing, right? When it comes to how people think,
Yeah.
being on the spectrum, ultimately, one of my issues with people who self-diagnose is
Mm.
that they often don't really hit the mark as it relates to the type of autism they have, the
Right.
type of what type, where they are at on the spectrum, or
Mm.
even if they are on that particular spectrum, because mental illness has many different faces, and mental impairment has many different faces.
Right.
And so for somebody to self-diagnose at the end of the day is that I hate to say this, it's like I tell people, I do IT for a living, right?
Right.
If you don't know jack shit about computers, and you
Right.
go trying to tell me what's wrong with the computer, I laugh. I think shit's hilarious because the people try to do it all the time. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, all right, cool, cool, cool.
Why
What
am
the
I thinking
fuck
of
you
that Jamie
talking about?
Foxx like SNL thing? Like the guy comes up and he says like, I did that, and then finally he's stumped by the IT guy.
I just be laughing. I'm like, yeah, okay,
Right.
all right, for real. I said, this is how you,
Yeah.
oh, really? And look, I'm like, hey, shit, whatever I can get on off the phone. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Get the fuck off the phone. All right, but you know,
Oh, I did hear of this one thing. So, I remember a long time ago in another life, I did work at a store where we sold computers.
mm,
And we used to have this guy named Ryan who was just fucking based. Like he would not hold back. And there
mm,
was this old lady apparently. Now I did not see this, but it was a story. There was this old lady, she took a computer home and she returned it. She's like, the computer's not working. And he said, okay, why? So he asked diagnostic questions like, did you do this? Did you do that? Finally, he just kind of thought about it and he says, is the computer plugged into the wall? She said no. So he literally said to her, you are too stupid to have a computer, box it up and return it back to us. Like, damn.
again, well, I wouldn't have done that, but still.
I mean, hey, I'm pretty sure you probably thought it at some point.
No, what is
You
this?
probably
It just
did. I'm
says
not going to
this.
assume you just
No, what
probably
I
did.
do, this is what I do, right? I look at the
Mm.
fact that, computers were thrust on people.
Right,
All right. They were thrown in people's faces, and you got to work your job. You got to use this fucking thing. Okay.
right,
So I kind of like compassion for people in the fact that that's what it was.
right,
Right. And so, but there are some people now, again, if you are just a humble human being and you trying to figure it out, I'll be like, hey, I got you. Right. But you
right,
come to me talking about, oh, my son does computing, he does this, this, and this. Why you coming to me to fix the computer? Go call your son.
right. Well, I
The
mean,
end of the
like if
day,
you're,
he seems like he knows more than I do, so why are you coming to me for?
well, it's kind of like the relative that uses you for IT work for free. Like, come on, I just came over to have Thanksgiving, man. You
Hey,
know?
look, my thing is this: I'm so family oriented, dude.
Uh,
Look, I want to know what the computer's doing before they know. Was your computer
right,
okay? Oh, it's
right.
okay. It's okay, Mark. It's okay. I'll say, I got you, right?
Hmm.
At the end of the day. But so, I mean, again,
Yeah.
get back, more to what we're talking about.
Hmm.
These people, I don't, again, I don't ever want to be that guy who tries to tell somebody how they feel. Like,
Right,
that's above my pay grade, number one, right?
right, right,
But what I can do is because I got some experience in life,
right,
if a person want to know, I can be like, well, this is what I kind of experience. If it helps you, fine. If it's not, then maybe we need
right,
to find somebody else, right?
right.
But in terms of this stuff in this fandom, I see a lot of these people in this fandom who believe that they own the fandom. There's actually this guy
Hmm.
who I used to do, every so often I teach a free class because when I was
Right,
growing up as an artist, I said to myself that if I ever got good enough to become professional, I was going to teach it to people for free who didn't have
right.
any money, right? Because I lived in the projects growing
Hmm.
up, but that's not the total sum or total who I am as a person. My
Right,
grandparents, they were middle class and, they lived in a pretty decent area and stuff. And so I lived with them too, right?
right.
But, I'm a black guy in from urban environment. So,
Hmm.
you call it what you want to call it.
Hmm.
Uh, thing is this. These guys, they actually believe they earn this fandom. And so I was teaching this class when I had to let people in, whatever. They had this guy come in, right? This guy,
Right.
this dude, he wants to learn. I guess I'm like, okay, older dude, whatever, right? Come to find out though, one of my other students later on, he started working he did an internship for the sheriff department, and he came back and told me, he said, "Hey man, you better not let that dude in this class anymore." Why? He said that dude's got a pedophilia rap sheet as long as your arm. I'm like, whoa, I had a lot of kids in there.
Yeah, that's
I had to
not
tell him, I
good.
said, "Hey man, you got to leave." What do you mean, man? I said, "Hey bro," I said, "These a lot of kids in here, man. You ain't supposed to be here, you know." And so I actually, but I didn't want to just throw the dude down the river. So I actually started doing what I should have done in the first place. Okay, I'm gonna own this. What I should have
Mhm.
done in the first place was did some research on who this dude was, but I didn't. Right, so I put those kids in danger, and so I'll take that to my grave.
Well, I will say this, you did way more than what other cons have done.
I take that to my grave. I put those kids in danger. So again, I'm not happy. I have to put all of my cards on the table.
Right.
All right. So the thing is, this guy told me we the fans, we own Star Wars. I was like, so when did Bob Iger send you your dividend check? That don't mean anything. I said, that means everything. I said, just like people talk about canon. Canon's what they say it is. You're not them.
Right.
You don't like it, too bad. But so again, they think they own the fandom. You'll get people who be watching anime. Oh, I watch all this anime. It's funny, younger people though, be watching anime and they'll be like, oh, I do watch this anime. Then I'll start bringing them titles they never heard of. Really? You ever seen Spriggan? Really? You ever seen
Oh, I saw Spriggan. That
well, I
was,
just I hit them up with the titles they never heard. I said, how about Erie? You ever seen that?
what is
Oh
it again?
man. I'll say, how about Erie? I'll ask them, have you ever seen that? I'll be like,
I
how
haven't
about
heard that one
Lensman? Have
before.
you ever seen that? No, I said, how about Nazca, the Valley Wind? You ever seen that? Or no, have you ever read Orion? No, I've never read that. I'm like, so you supposed to be the end all, beat all
Weeaboo
Wikipedia
motherfucker
of
on the planet.
anime and manga, and you've never seen anything, huh?
Right.
I'm like, you put a pin in that. Again, these people, they think they own the fandom and they get to gatekeep other people in the fandom, right? And so these people are the type of people who push this young woman towards that led in her life that led to her suicide. You know, you're just
I,
trying to have fun in the fandom, and the
yeah,
more
oh, I'm sorry. I
no,
was
no,
going to
go ahead.
say,
No, you about to say something.
yeah, like I just had to kind of laugh because it's like these same people that they gatekeep people that are just trying to have fun, but
Sure,
they don't actually gatekeep the people that are predators or bullies or anything
not
like
because
that.
they're just like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny. That's why I was just laughing
And
at the irony too. It's
there's a
just like,
cottage industry of these people. You ever look on Comicsgate? Comicsgate, right?
yeah, I know about it.
So these guys, uh, uh, the guys in Comicsgate, what is this guy? What's this guy's name? The NVSs and guys like that, guys who are on what I call a Comicsgate, what I call the comics manosphere, you know, that are
Mhm.
Trumpian to the and right wing to the cows come home and
Mhm.
believe that they'll be like, oh, I'm not racist. They just should make new characters. You're not gonna support those characters. Who cares? You just what it is. My thing is this. I'll say this about racism. If you're a racist and you claim you're a racist, I can't have do nothing, have nothing respect for you. Because at least you got balls enough to call yourself what you are.
Right.
But then you got people like, I'm not a racist because, I don't want to be anything bad. I want to do all the bad shit, but I don't want to be called nothing bad.
Mm. Right.
That right
Exactly.
there, that's cowardice, right? So,
Yeah. Well, I
even
don't want to get involved.
right. But then you got the gatekeepers who, like the MVSs, who do shit like, yeah, he didn't do this, but you got the precursor to Comicsgate, this damn Gamergate. They was doxing women, doing all sorts of shit. They mad because women are doing shit as professionals in the video game industry, right? But they feel the same way in Comicsgate.
Right.
These women are in my fandom, this, and that, and the other, right? I had a
Mm.
buddy of mine who was big in comics. He had some issues, with mental illness
Right.
that said some stuff about another buddy of mine that was kind of like, hey, man, look, I love him dearly. And I kind of had to pull him aside. I said, hey, man, can't be saying that shit, bro.
Right.
I don't care how you feel, but, you
Right.
can't be saying that that sister got somewhere other than because of something other than her talent. That's
Right.
bullshit, you know? Especially we black people and we know how hard it is to do any fucking thing as black people. Get the fuck on out of here.
Well,
You know?
like as an artist, because I started off in the artist in the comics industry, I may not like somebody's art. I may think it sucks. I'm not going to go around and start bullying them because they could always
Well,
improve
it's
in my
not so
eyes
much
or do their own
with
thing.
him. It wasn't so much bullying. He was really going through some fucked up shit mentally, right?
No, I
So,
understand that.
he just was lashing out. I'm like, hey man, you can't be doing that shit because you can't shit on that person's work because you ain't walked their journey. You don't fucking know. You don't know what that person went through. To fucking go through the shit that That's one thing I get pretty pissed off when people try to tell other people what their journeys are. That shit's fucked up.
Right.
You
Right.
know. Uh, so I mean, even then, that's what these people tried to do with this young woman.
Right.
You know, they
Yeah.
tried to own her, is what they tried to do. Just like
Yeah.
with the woman at TwitchCon, they tried to own her.
Yeah.
They didn't see her as a human being. They saw her as a commodity. They saw her as a thing.
I think it's also called parasocial type of relationships. Like from a
Oh, okay.
distance, I imagine all
I've
these
heard
things. It's
that
like,
before. Let me go
yeah.
to the machine right quick.
All right. I mean, it's like one thing, like let's say, okay, like if you when you get married to your wife or your husband or whatever, right? Don't care who you are. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
yeah.
You're right. So it says parasocial behavior involves forming one-sided emotional bonds with media figures. Woo! Yeah, okay. All right, you're on the
Yeah.
money.
And the thing is that what you want to do with that is that you just don't go out of your way. It's like, okay, like, yeah, like maybe you see the person you're going to marry and love, you imagine all sorts of things. Yeah, it's kind of one-sided. But the thing, how do you act with it? Oh, you talk to her, you get to, or him, you get to know him, you get to interact with him, see if you're compatible, do all the normal stuff. The thing is that this guy probably imagined, oh, I just am going to kiss her in this massive thing and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, no,
Who
don't,
fed him
don't.
that shit though?
I don't know because
Yes,
I
you
don't
do.
know the guy
Yes, you
and I
do.
don't know.
Yeah, yes,
No,
you do. You know who fed him
the
that
one
shit.
that tried kissing Emaru.
You
The one
you
that
know
tried,
who fed him that shit.
well, it was like the either he probably
Hollywood
watched
fed
Squid
him that
Game.
shit.
Well, there's that. What I'm saying is that he probably ideated a lot of stuff that he didn't put into realistic context. At
Sure,
least
but
this doesn't
again,
excuse what he did, but
right?
I'm just saying,
But we know who made those cookies.
yeah,
Hollywood made those cookies.
yeah. Well, and also the thing is probably his other idiot friends could have also spurred him on and said, yeah, you should do it because some people do that.
Not knowing that they're laughing at him.
Uh, sometimes I wonder if some people are so fucking stupid that their friends, all they have to do is suggest them do shit. They don't sit down like,
Well,
maybe he
again,
was
that's
just trying to
because
clown me.
they want to be popular and they want to be accepted. So people, well, look, that's how cults form. People, want to be accepted, and then they'll do shit and do shit, and they'll go deeper down that rabbit hole. Next thing you know, they drink
Some
Kool-Aid
of,
and shit,
I mean, some of it stems from really hard
deifying a
mommy
human
daddy
being.
issues.
Look, and deifying a human being too. Yeah, there are daddy issues there too. Yeah, there are daddy issues there.
Yeah, yeah. But
I
yeah,
just,
that's parasocial. That's what I heard. That's like one of the new words. It's like,
but the fandom,
hmm,
people like all the families police itself. The fandom is a social structure. How many social structures do you know that police themselves?
they're not very good at it.
They're not very good at it because at the end of the day, you always got some gatekeeper who is rallying forces to try to take some type of control over it and ostracize other people. And what's so
Well,
funny,
the
what I like is that when all other people leave voluntarily, and leave that person with the five people that were on the team before. That's funny,
oh yeah, or even less because their friends are like, "Oh, we realize you're not cool and you're not going to tank for all of our stupidity."
right? At the end of the day. So, I mean, again, I mean, I'll tell you, there's this woman who is part of that cosplay fandom, right?
Yeah.
Who got mad at me for being friends with another woman in that cosplay fandom. Her and that woman were beefed out for some missing the black cosplay fandom. She had the nerve to be like, well, my friend says that you can't be my friend because, you're friends with her. It's like, the fuck are you talking about?
You know
You
what?
know,
If I ever do anything with my friends, I say, "Hey, look, I have an issue with this person. I don't want to be in the same room with them, whatever.
and that's
You can
good
hang out
enough.
with them." Yeah, like I just simply say, you can hang out with them and shit, but just keep in mind they did this to me. I don't want to be around them. And I just
Sure, and
say
that's no
those are
problem.
my boundaries.
That's the look. My
Yeah.
thing is this, right? I'll say,
Yeah.
this, right? Like I told certain people as it relates to you, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, look, I can only go by my experience with the sister. I ain't never had no bad experiences with her. Are the two of us honest and candid? We try to be as honest and candid as possible.
Mm,
That's why we friends.
right.
Because we honest and candid. Good shit,
Mm,
bad shit. It is what it is,
right.
you know? So, I mean, ultimately it comes down to, people, look, everybody don't fit. That's one thing. Everybody don't
Right.
fit together.
Right.
You had two people that get along like this and they know everything about each other, good and bad. Then you got other people who might romanticize that person. When that person doesn't meet up to the romanticism that they put out there for them, then they get mad at the person. I've seen that happen too. I thought they were this, but they were this. So I was like this, right? I'll tell people this, right? There's a certain actor who's playing Lobo that I'm really not a fan of, right? Now,
Mm,
I used to think the guy was dope. I followed the guy's career for a long time until I actually met the dude. When I met the dude's an asshole. Yes, fuck this
mm,
dude. You know?
right. Well, it's
Man,
kind of like the
I approached the guy as a fan. Hey man, good looking out. Cause I heard he was doing some good shit in my city where I live. I'm
right.
like, oh man, good luck. Thanks for doing that. He looked at me like I wasn't shit. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, bet. People say he might have had a bad day. Not twice in a row you have no bad day. But I approached him later on. I saw him somewhere
Mm.
else. Same shit. I'm like, get the fuck out of my face. You
You
know.
know, it's kind of funny. It sort of reminds me of the like on a converse thing, the guy who played King Joffrey in Game of
Mhm.
Thrones. That poor fucker was getting like death threat letters because he was playing Joffrey so well. It's like, but I heard
That
he's
kid,
actually decent.
they say that kid's a beautiful person.
Yeah, they say he's
People I
really
know,
nice.
people that I've heard talk about him, they say that kid's a beautiful person. And as an
Yeah,
actor,
he's actually like a cool guy, you
that
know?
guy, what did he play in? What movie did he play in? And he takes roles now that are so anti-type, and he's amazing in these roles. He played this stoner dude, man. That was friends with somebody in some movie. He had a big old thick mustache and shit. He was the guy's roommate, and I'm like,
Right.
this is an actor. This guy is an
Yeah,
actor.
he's really good. I heard
Right.
he quit acting because he was getting so many death threats, but
Yeah, he
I'm
came
glad he's
back, but
still
he come
continuing.
back in smaller roles that he's having fun doing. And I appreciate that from an
Right.
artistic standpoint. That kicks ass.
Well, he
You know.
also probably wanted to reboot some things
Yeah, he
because
ended up
like,
going to university. I think he went to the university for literature. He went to Oxford, I think, for literature or something
oh,
like that.
okay.
Yeah, I think
Well,
he
that's
did.
kind of
Yeah,
like
don't quote.
that's like Maya Balik. Like she
Mhm.
is like fucking smart as shit. Like they even consulted her on Big Bang Theory because it's like, okay, are we doing this right? Because it was like I forgot, it was like either quantum physics or something. But
My wife, man, my wife has an issue with her for some reason.
whoa, 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 what?
I said my wife has an issue with her for some reason.
Oh, well,
I'm
I'm
like,
just saying, I never met her. I just remember, I just am saying that she's
I gonna
smart as
say
hell.
I take it back. I don't say she got an issue with it. I take it back.
I
There's
mean,
certain people that come to my wife. There's certain people that just hit that distaste button. I've seen it before, right? And I'll just be
right.
like, I'll see it coming, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that person hit the distaste button. It's over for them.
Oh, do they need to do anything, or she just gets a vibe from them that's like,
Yeah, her vibes are pretty good though, because look, what I'll do, I'll be like, oh, honey, why you doing this? Oh, this and this, right?
hmm.
Next thing you know, that person will do some shit. I'll be like, man, I didn't see that coming. She'll be like, I did.
Well, I mean, it's like, what do they call it? Women's intuition. So there
She
you
got,
go.
hey, she got that third eye open, boy. Some of these people, but I mean, so the thing is, ultimately, you know, do what what I want to get into
Right.
the next time we get together. That
Right.
then again, I want to go. If you don't mind, I want to continue to go down this rabbit hole
No, that's fine.
because I think there's some things as it relates to the whys that these that the gatekeepers and people like that operate that are very important for us to understand.
Right.
You know, and I don't think it happens in a vacuum. You
Mm.
know, I don't. And number one, and as you are saying, I don't think that the appropriate parties take enough responsibility as it relates to doing their job to make sure that a lot of these spaces are safe for everybody.
Oh, they'll go like, oh, it's the freedom of speech. It's like
My thing
that's
is
so
this: freedom of speech does not allow you to libel people.
yeah. It's like I think I've been told it's inherent, like it stops when you start hurting another person.
Well, no, no, this capitalism. So it starts when you start messing with other people's pockets.
Mm.
All
Well, there you go.
right. So, I mean, again, that's some. I mean, we can go deeper down this hole, and I think we need to go deeper down this hole because we want to do. I think what I personally would like to do
Mm.
is to try to open this up from a standpoint of looking at what it is that makes these groups of people who they are. What types of things have happened to these people that turn them into these entitled, wounded, and
Self-harming, I think. It's kind of,
self-harming
yeah.
uh uh monsters as it relates to people in the rest of the fandom. How
Right.
come you can't let just people have fun? You know, that's the
Mhm.
thing. Like I had a friend of mine tell me one time that I made drawing not fun for them, right? Because they draw for fun, but I'm technical. So I'll be
Mm.
like, they ask me for advice and I give them advice. Nowadays, though, I love them dearly. They ask me for advice, I give them nothing. It's like, hey man, that looks pretty cool. That's about as much as they get. That looks cool. That sounds cool.
Right.
I mean, I try to be honest to them. If it's cool, it's cool. But in terms of changing stuff, I'm not. Hey, buddy, I go this way.
Mm.
They want me to go this way. I go that way.
Right.
Because
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I think that's why I like punk and underground because it's like, I mean, I didn't want to be like the other punks in underground, but it was just like, the space I came from, it's like you're supposed to be cute, you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that. I'm like I have had relatives tell me, draw Hello Kitty, you'll make lots of money. I'm like, no, I don't have an issue with Hello Kitty. I like the design. It's
that
not
person
me.
has already done that. My thing is this is the thing about capitalism that kills me. I can't fucking stand it to a certain extent because it's like go and piggyback off that motherfucker's idea and make residual money off that motherfucker's idea. How the fuck
Mhm.
that sound? That sounds fucking crazy. You
Well,
know?
it ends up them losing money because people get bored and say, yeah, fuck this after a while.
Right. And your
And
Hello Kitty ain't never gonna be as great as the fucking person who came up with Hello Kitty. That
it's
shit ain't
like,
gonna happen. It's like me doing Demon Bitch.
yeah,
You got fans. That fans
right,
gonna look at me like, yeah, okay, that's okay, but that ain't Christy Shin.
right, yeah.
That's
And
as
it's like,
long as you're up.
yeah, it's just like the thing is like some people say, well, you're talking about this and you draw a demon bitch and it's mean. I said, you know this? They're all monsters. You don't know who it is.
And it's cathartic.
Yeah. It's like I'm not saying
It's
names.
therapy.
Yeah, I'm not saying names. I'm not saying anybody. Why? Here's the thing. I actually do believe in forgiveness to a certain point with a lot of people. Not everyone, but a lot. Okay. And here's the thing. Number two, if a person actually apologized and made amends, like actual apologizing, changing of behavior, I'll give him a moment, depending on what it is. I'll let him say something.
Well,
Other
you
than
know
that,
about
it's
that.
like, but a lot of situations, it's like there was never an apology. There was never, hey, you know what, I fucked up. I'm sorry. Even personally to me. It was just like, no, I'm going to continue doing shitty things.
My thing
And
is
it's
this
just,
though.
yeah,
That's my whole deal, right?
yeah.
I try to practice compassion because
Mm,
I have seen places in this world where compassion don't exist, and I've seen the ramifications of that bullshit.
right.
Okay. People got issues with me. Okay, that's cool, whatever. It's
Hmm.
like this. I apologize and I'm like I can say apologize, but I practice compassion for my sake, not for their fucking sakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to become this piece of shit person that feels like my word is the end and or be all of everything, and I'm
Hmm.
entitled to this, that, and the other. So
Right.
I definitely want to do that.
Right.
So again, I try to be compassionate, but being compassionate keeps me a humble person, so that I know,
Mhm.
keeps me a humble person.
I think it's also like, for me, I'm coming from a different perspective as a woman. I think women are taught to apologize way too much.
Oh yeah, I agree
Unfortunately.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm just like, sometimes I'm not apologetic to people because it's like when I honestly, no, if I honestly did something, that's one thing. So I don't have this attitude, I never need to apologize. No. But the thing is that if, but the thing is that if they're trying to go and say to me, well, you just are different and we think that's wrong, so you should apologize. I'm like, no, fuck you. No,
Well, my
I
thing
can
is
go
this
hang
though.
somewhere else.
It still don't hurt to talk. That's one thing. Talking never hurts.
Yeah, talking is one thing, but it's like this. If you want me to default apologize to you in order to keep
Well,
that to
yeah,
a
no, you
horse,
should never do
fuck
that.
you.
But at the end of the day, that you said the dispute, talking may don't hurt because you may see it a different way than they see it, and you may learn
Mhm.
some shit and be like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah, it's just,
I see it differently. Okay, I didn't see it that way before."
yeah, and that's the thing. I'm open to that, but it's like when somebody has been trying, I mean, I've dealt with a lot of gaslighting, and it's like, no, no, like I'll recognize it as
Look, it's
gaslighting,
like even some people we've been dealing with, right?
right?
I told them flat out, "Hey, man, look, I can't. I'm gotta be fair. It's fair that what our what the caveats was with Christy being on the show at that particular time. Why is it such a problem that you got to follow the same caveats? That's being fair. I don't
Right.
have a problem talking to them, but at the end of the day, hey buddy, you got to line up them cute them pool balls just like she had to line up them pool balls.
You
And
had requirements, and I just, when I said, okay, let me see what
all
I
right,
can do, and
that's
I
it.
fulfilled them.
I mean, nobody
Right.
trying to. Like, I'm not trying to take their voice. You got something? Come on, let's talk. But you ain't gonna try to shame me. Oh, he's a simp. He this that. It's like get the fuck on out of here. I said you dealing with a different homie. I'm a G, cuz. I know I don't my thing is this I don't run like nobody I don't run like nobody's hot butter. That ain't me, buddy. So you can
Yeah.
take that bullshit to somebody else.
Right.
But I mean ultimately again, I think that we definitely well, the next time we talk, we want to kind of get into a little bit more of the psychology of this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, again, thanks, Christy, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I love talking to you about this stuff because, we get to dig into some of the real crisis points,
Right.
or we're starting to at least dig into some of the real crisis points that
Hmm.
make up the fandom. We love the fandom. That's
Yeah.
what people understand. That's why we doing this, because we love the fandom. We want to get down to the nuts and bolts of the cancers in these freaking fandoms.
Right.
You know? Oh,
Right. And I'm just like going like this has been my experiences and what I've dealt with
sure.
and what I've observed. I mean, the thing is that sometimes when I've talked with people, they said, you said the thing that all of us wanted to say, or a lot
Sure.
of us wanted to say.
And we got a forum, so tell them to come over here. They can talk all they want.
Right, 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 definitely. But yeah, I mean, it's like this is like behavior that's really disgusted me on a certain level. Like on a
Sure.
human level, like that girl Ash. I'm guessing she goes by a girl. She looks like a girl to
Right,
me.
right.
If it's
Whatever her
anything,
pronouns are, yeah.
yeah, like whatever it is, I feel bad for her.
Of
It's like
course.
because that's fucked up. Like all she was doing, and again, I had to look into it, but she was just in trying to enjoy herself in a
I
bunch
feel
of,
bad for her. I feel bad for her mama. I feel bad for
yeah.
her daddy. I feel bad for her sisters, brothers, grandparents,
And
all
it just,
that because
yeah.
these people,
Well, they're
were
assholes.
part of pushing this young lady into taking her own life. Now, I'm not saying that they were the only thing. Now, let's come on. I'm not that stupid to think
Yeah.
that that was the only component, but it definitely was a part and I'm pretty sure played a pretty big part.
That's the thing also, and I know we're going to conclude this. That's another thing that kind of disgusted me with shit like this, is that, having seen it firsthand on a lot of situations and, and all that other stuff, I I think it's like that's the kind of the driving force behind a lot of those bullies. Yes, they want to subjugate. Yeah, it's all the things we want to talk about. But what's even creepier that I realized is that they want you to kill yourself. Some of them are that sick. And
Did you
I
hear
hate,
about
I'm
what
saying
did
it.
let me ask you a question. Did you hear about the AI that told the kid to kill himself?
No, I did not hear about
Yeah,
that. What was that about?
There's an AI companion that told this kid not to seek help and to listen to it, and it advised him to kill himself.
That's awful. Because, like, I know of like this one teenage girl that convinced her then boyfriend or friend, and they were both teenagers, to kill himself. I've heard of that one, but I have not heard of that
Yep,
this one. That's
AI
pretty sick.
companion recently did well that allegedly. I don't say allegedly, but just I don't know. At first, I thought it was an urban legend, but turns out that the thing actually kind of happened. So let me go
That's
ahead
really
again before
awful.
I start. I'm gonna go into the machine as usual.
Right, right. Yeah, look it up. The
All
internet's a
right.
great place because you can actually find info. I mean, there's a lot of bullshit, but you can find actual info.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just what I've seen personally from my firsthand experiences. I think that's behind their minds, and it's really sick.
Yep. It is a documented and tragic fact that the parents have alleged in lawsuits and congressional testimony that AI chatbots encouraged their teenage son to die by suicide. This happened in I think it says two specific cases gained specific national attention in the US and in the UK. Wow.
Because I knew of that one girl that texted her boyfriend and convinced him, or like
Mhm.
he was in her boyfriend, or he was a love interest or something. It was something they knew each other. And because he trusted her, he went along with it. And that's pretty fucked up in itself. But
But
AI doing that, that's bad too.
you know what's so funny though too at the end of the day, right?
Right.
And this is a question I ask myself as I'm older, right?
Right.
What were the relationship with this young woman and these parents and this family? We'll never know, obviously, but those people, the family influenced this young woman way longer than anything else did. So, I mean, again, there's always a ton of different components to something like this.
Well, it's a
But having said
combinatorics of
that, she didn't, she
factors.
definitely didn't, no one deserves to be bullied.
No, no,
No one deserves to be bullied at all. It's like my
no.
wife, she often talks about like when people, like you were R. Kelly and stuff, right? She asks a simple question: where are the parents?
Well, it's kind of
What
like
were they
that's
doing?
sort of what, yeah, it's sort of
Michael
like,
Jackson, where were the parents? The fuck were they doing?
I'm
You know what
trying to
I'm
remember
saying?
another one. Like, I think, oh, like the one with the Polanski rape case and all that. It's like,
Right,
where
right,
the fuck was her mom?
right. You
Like,
know,
why was she at a Hollywood party at 13 at that time? I know it was like years ago, but still, that's still not appropriate.
who let Anthony Rapp be be in the company of who is it? Dang it, was the guy. Fuck that guy. I can't remember the guy's name, but well-known guy, young guy, who's an actor right now, uh, Kevin Spacey.
Oh, yeah.
How
Yeah.
did Anthony Rapp, 13-year-old Anthony Rapp, get in the company of Kevin Spacey?
Right.
You know, I mean, again, it's a lot of questions that can be asked. That's not, I'm not, trying to down, but I'm just asking questions, and
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, because
So
he was 13, 14 at the time. It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Drew Barrymore, her mom wanted to do the Hollywood life and party, so she took her kid along because her
right.
kid was the star to these adult parties.
Sure, sure, sure. So, I mean, again, a lot of
Yeah,
questions to ask. And I
right.
think that, it'll be interesting as we ask them and, to see what conclusions we come to.
Mm.
But
Right.
in this situation, we're coming out of this talking about the fact that the fandom, it can be toxic. I mean, there are great parts of the fandom too. Let me
Yeah,
not, whatever. But
right.
it's like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So the loudest parts of the fandom are usually the negative parts of the fandom. And not saying,
Yeah, it's
and they're not the majority of the fandom, but they're the
right,
loudest parts of fandom.
right,
All right.
right,
So okay, Christy, we're gonna wrap it up for this one.
right.
Uh we're gonna talk a little bit about Willie in the next one we're gonna do.
Yeah, right now, Willie just it's been a long week. What can I say? Willie released a current animation called Oh Maggie.
Okay.
And if anybody does not know about Willie Ito, he is the last surviving Japanese internment animator from Disney. That is what I know for certain. And
We will soon be
yeah,
interviewing.
yeah, yeah, we got to pin
Right,
it
we got to
down, but
pin
it
down
will
the
be
date,
happening.
yes, but it's going to be sooner rather than later. I
Yeah,
can't wait. So
yeah, yeah, and
we'll take a break from all our doom and gloom, and then
yeah, right. But he did is that his friend Shigeru, who is his best friend, call him Shigs for short. And Shig basically wrote the story about being interred,
that's
being a
cool.
kid, and they adopt a baby magpie and they go from there. And I actually got the wonderful thing of watching it at Willie's house. And it's a very touching story. It's a short, but it's very touching and it's lovely and
Did you
it's
get a
definitely
cell?
something to
Do you have a
watch.
cell?
I do not have a cell. They didn't give it to
What?
me. I think it
What do
was
you mean? Who come look here, Chrissy Chen? You got to get a
I don't think
cell.
they use cells no more. That's the thing. I
Okay,
don't think
well I
they
don't
use
care.
cells
Have
anymore.
them do whatever. Get whatever you got to get something.
Well, we'll figure it out. I'll talk to him
Right,
about
right,
that. But
right.
yeah.
So I
But
still
he's
can't wait, and
yeah.
tell Willie before that I am honored and so appreciative to be able to interview him.
Right, right. I will let him know that because it
All right,
was like
and then tell him that I'm sorry I'm not running from him.
well, I mean, he's a lovely old man, very
Okay,
lovely.
all
And
right, that's
I
gonna
got
be
to
a
actually also meet Floyd Norman too. We actually got to talk about Santa Barbara, funny enough.
okay, buddy. Like I said, we'll get them all on here. I don't
Right,
care.
right. Yeah.
All right, Christy, I will see you soon.
Mhm.
I'm gonna edit this, and then we're gonna make sure no one sues us.
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
I trust me. I'll take care of that. Anyway,
Yeah, there you go.
all
All
right,
right.
Christy. All right. So again, see you soon, and this is gonna be interesting.
All right, very much so.
All right,
All
all
right,
right,
thanks.
all right.